In this video, we're going to look at how to write the equation of a line if we're given 2 points. So just like before, we need slope and a point to be able to write the equation of a line, right? So every time you write the equation of the line, you need 2 things. And those 2 things are slope. And remember, our formula for slope when we have 2 points is y2 minus y1, the change in the y's over the change in the x's, so x2 minus x1. So we need slope, and then the second thing we need to do is a point. And it's not going to matter which point we use. So for example, if I have, so find the equation of the line that passes through, and then A, we'll look at the points -1, -6, and -5, 3. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find the slope, right? Be able to write the equation of the line, I need to find the slope. So the slope is going to be, so we'll label these. So this will be x1, y1, and this will be x2, y2. So the slope is going to be 3 minus -6 divided by -5 minus -1. So 3 minus -6, that would give us a +9. And -5 plus 1 would give us a -4, or a -4. So our slope is going to be -9/4. And now we're going to use that y equals mx plus b formula. And again, you can use whichever formula you want, the y equals mx plus b, or the point slope formula, and then solve it for y. But all of these answers we're going to want to give in y equals, so in this point slope form. So if you remember, the things we're going to plug in is we're going to plug in for y. It doesn't matter which one I pick, so I'll pick I'll use the first point here. So we'll have -6 equals our m, -9/4, our x, which is -1, and then plus b. And if I do that, I have -6 is equal to 9/4 plus b. And so what I need to do is I need to subtract. I need to get the b by itself, so I need to subtract 9/4 from both sides. And I'm going to come up here so I have some more room. So we're going to have -6 minus 9/4 is going to turn out to be equal to b. So I would personally just stick this in my calculator, but if you were going to do it by hand, you have to make a common denominator. So you can think of the 6 as 6/1. And then I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 4. So this is going to be -24/4 minus 9/4 to get b. And so b in this case is going to be -33/4. And then our final answer, remember, we want to write y equals mx plus b, but in the final answer, we just plug in for the m and the b. We leave the x and the y. So our final answer is going to be y equals m, which is -9/4 x, and then b minus 33/4. So we'll do another one. So part B. So sometimes they give you a picture and then ask you from the picture to write the equation of the line. And so all you have to do is, especially in like a picture where it's not easy to see where the y-intercept is. We just have to find 2 points that are on our line. So let's say there was a point here on our line, and then let's say there was also a point here on our line, and then our line went through these 2 points. So it's easy you could count down the slope to figure out what it is, or you can actually just use what the points are. So remember, this point here is going to be, to get to this point here, I went 1, 2 to the left, so it's going to be -2, comma, and it's up here at 4. So this point is -2, comma, 4. And this point over here is 6, comma, 2. So those are the 2 points we're going to use. We're going to use the point -2, 4, and the point 6, comma, 2. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is find the slope. So the slope is going to be, so again, if I label these x1, y1, x2, y2, so the slope is going to be y2 minus y1, so 2 minus 4, divided by x2 minus x1, 6 minus -2. So we're going to end up with 2 minus 4 is -2 over 6 minus -2 is a +8, or a -1/4. And so then we're going to use that y equals mx plus b. And I'm going to plug in, I'm going to pick a point. So I'll just use this first point. It does not matter which point you use. You can use whichever point you want. So 4 for the y is equal to the slope, which is -1/4, times the x value, which is -2, plus b. So 4 is equal to, if I multiply -1/4 times -2, that's 1/2 plus b. I'll subtract 1/2 from both sides. So on this side I have b. Again, you could put 4 minus 1/2 into your calculator. If you didn't, you want to think of the 4 as 4 over 1, and then I need to make a common denominator, so I need to multiply top and bottom by 2. In which case, b is going to be equal to 8/2 minus 1/2, so b is going to be 7/2. So the equation of my line, y equals mx plus b, to get that final answer, I need to plug in for m and for b. So if I do that, y is going to be, m is -1/4 x, and b is 7/2. So it's kind of tying together what we've done in other videos. It's just that now you have to actually find the slope, and then you have to plug the slope in to help you find the y-intercept.